Hi everybody. Um, Welcome. Good evening to those of you who are watching in Europe, and good morning, good evening, wherever else you may be tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm just adding our guests in. Tonight, Meg and Cal from Flora and the Novice Explorers joining us. So hopefully they will be patching through in just a second. If you're interested in camping, T5 conversions, traveling, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi guys.
All right.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having us.
Yes, yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well.
Hopefully yeah, okay, good. So I'm just going to introduce myself quickly to our viewers. My name is Steph. I've been working for Heritage Park Centre for just under a year now. I work with all the social media, the email marketing campaigns. Andy, who's done our previous Instagram live stories, he and I work very closely. So I've got some big shoes to fill tonight, and I'm sure he'll be watching. But thank you once again for joining us. So would you like to introduce yourselves to our followers?
Yeah, so we are Meg and Cal, and we go by the name of Flora and the Novice Explorers. Ooh. Do you want to say?
So what exactly is Flora the Novice? It's a YouTube channel, but how did it start? Where did your journey begin?
Oh, I don't know, really. Quite a while ago now. I think we just got the bug, the travel bug, and then we stumbled upon the hashtag van life, social media, romantic pictures that we kept seeing on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And it just seemed the most accessible way to start traveling, really.
Yeah, we realised that we couldn't quite afford a camper van straight off, so that we ended up doing a self-build conversion.
Yeah, it's a very popular way to do it. What
Yeah.
made you guys want to document the journey?
I think it started purely for our own sort of personal diary. I used to do a lot of photography, and I love storing memories and stuff. And so we started filming just for our own benefit, really. And then slowly it gathered a small following, because it was never how-to videos, because we were learning ourselves. You know, that's why we called ourselves the Novice Explorers. So it was never how-to series. It was just for our own benefit, really. And then we finished the build and had quite a nice little following. And then obviously we hit the road not long after, and just decided to sort of do travel vlogs as well, which are doing quite well.
Yeah, I mean your Instagram feed is, picturesque, really. It really makes me want to go and travel.
Yeah, we've been so lucky so far.
Good. So what made you guys choose a Volkswagen, a T5 specifically? I mean, I know, Meg, you've mentioned to me in the past that your family have got a little bit of history with Volkswagens. Did that play into it?
Yeah, very much so. It all started when I was about 15. My dad bought a 1965 split-screen panel van, which we then started going to the shows and being immersed in the Volkswagen community. And since then, my sister had a 72 Beetle. She's got a bug sat on the drive, which I can use every now and again when we get home. But we aren't very mechanically minded, so we needed something more modern, less maintenance, and something that would be a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, no, that's a good plan for it. So did you, when you were looking, you have specifics in mind for what you needed from the van?
For the T5, I think we definitely wanted long wheelbase, although it's not a huge amount of extra room. It does all really add up. We wanted sort of no bulkhead, although you can remove those anyway, just so we've got a bit of free flow between the cab and the back.
Yeah, we wanted barn doors because we wanted a bike rack, even though you can get it for both.
Yeah.
But in a way, we just fell in love with the colour of Flora, and she was an ex-florist fan, and it just, we fell in love, and it kind of made sense, and it was all fate, and it was
Well, that's what we
epic.
tell ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got all the good feelings going.
Oh yeah, almost like nervous breakdown level. Yeah, it's good.
It's a bit silly. We were planning, we always planned to do a big trip. So money was always, we're saving money, but we saw this van and we just fell in love, and it blew the budget straight away. So everything instantly got pushed back a little while because we had to pay off for the van and all that stuff. But we don't regret buying this van
not
at
at all.
No, it's been great.
That's good. That's good. So I see we've got some new followers. So I just want to quickly reiterate for anybody that's just joined. This is Meg Cal from Flora and the Novice Explorers, their YouTube channel where they camp and live out of their T5 at the moment. And I'm Steph from Heritage Park Centre, chatting about all of that tonight. Maybe pop a wave down below or a country, a flag or something so we can see where you're watching from. If you've got any questions, pop them in there and we'll try and get to them at the end of the session as well. So looking back at your YouTube channel, I noticed when you bought Flora, you did like 99% of the work yourselves. Was that a big learning curve for you guys?
Oh yes, we had very limited DIY skills. I think the best I had was my GCSE in art and design. So that's what we're talking with here with the Novice Explorer tag.
Yeah, I think going with like the rustic look as well, we didn't particularly have to have a single straight line cut of wood, did we? So that helps, you know. It's very like surf shacky look in there with the palette wood and stuff, so everything's a bit shabby chic, so we didn't have to be too accurate.
Yeah, the things that did need to be accurate, we got people in to help us. So our diesel heater has been fitted professionally and our side window was professionally fitted as well.
Yeah. You can't take out the cut in the panel. It's just too scary to take a nibbler and cut out a panel of the van, so we left that to the pros. But yeah,
we hear that a lot.
We learned a lot on the way. I think if we ever did another van, we'd be a lot more confident. And yeah, we really enjoyed the process. I'm not saying it was all plain sailing. We definitely had days where we were just exhausted with it. Certain jobs just went on and on and on.
Yeah, and we had to put a huge amount of research for it. It was every night just going over, like you with the electrics and the solar panel, and me, how everything would fit together and be safe, which is another big thing to consider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Did you have like a list of must-haves when you were building it, you know, things that you definitely knew you needed in the van?
Definitely. Well, we definitely wanted heating because we intended to travel all year, so we didn't know what the climates were going to be. So the diesel heater, for me at least, was a must. Solar power, because we have laptops, cameras that need constant power, so the solar was a must.
Yeah, we also went for a different layout. Like the normal T5 layout, you have a rock and roll bed and the kitchen and storage area all down one side. But we went for a slightly different layout, which if you want to, would you like a virtual tour?
Yes, please.
We knew
just a quick one.
We knew we were having virtual guests, so we've made it extra tidy. Oh yeah, let me flip the camera around a minute.
I'll move that away.
There we go. So, just come back a little bit. So this is our pull-out bench bed, all handmade with IKEA slats that like bow and support our lumber and make it extra airy. Oh, I'm trying to get all the good angles here. That's the swivel seat.
Oh, that comes in good handy. Gives you a good extra chunk of space, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, we really notice when we don't have the opportunity to swivel it. And then we had our bespoke upholstery done by Callum's sister. She went self-employed, so we gave her a bit of business.
That's great.
Really loads of storage underneath the bed. And then if I hop in here, and that's my kitchen at the end, which we made out of a repurposed door, which we kind of made a countertop out of. A bit of a spice rack out of pallet wood. The cooker's concealed underneath the bit where there's like a little inset like handle. You lift that up. You could model it if you'd like, Cal.
Go on, Cal, give us a little show off.
This is very much role swapping right now. He's always the one with the camera. I'm the one with the kitchen. And then we've got like our wardrobe there, all made out of pallet wood. That was kind of made out of a like a shelving unit from a a commercial van, and we've just put doors on the front. That was our little cheat to get us into it. And this was a bedside table.
That's very
yes. So that's the little tour. It's very tidy. We must admit it's not always that tidy, but again, we knew we had guests.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the little. I'm afraid mine's my living room. It's not quite the same thing. So now that you've lived in Flora for a while, I mean, how long have you guys been on the road now?
I think we're pushing on 11 months.
11 months.
I'd say, yeah. Which has flown by.
Yeah, really quick.
So now that you've been living in Flora for 11 months, do you have changes that you would potentially make, or any regrets about any parts of the build, or?
I wouldn't say there's regrets because, like you said, we have planned to do things so we can rectify what mistakes we have made. So one of our main things was improving the ventilation. So we're going to try get a skylight with a fan in it to go above the cooker, just to get the steam out, because sometimes it can get a little bit toasty inside of the hand.
We're a little bit naive with that kind of thing because we didn't want to give us too much big stuff to do, like big bodywork things. So we skipped that stage and now regret it quite a lot.
Another thing we want to do, we've only got really in the body of the van the one window on the sliding door, which is like a very heavily tinted, which is great for security and privacy, but in terms of letting light in, it's not great. So we might put a couple more in the barn doors, get around to that, just to like add a bit more light and make the van feel a bit bigger, I think. Yeah,
another naivety, I suppose, we went with a camping gas setup, which we didn't really think would be a problem. We thought it was the best way to work with, being so novice at everything. But we really should have had an underslung gas LPG setup, where once you've paid €35 a time to switch like a gas bottle, it's not particularly the best route to go.
Yeah.
No.
It's been a learning curve.
Isn't
it? Yeah.
Apart from that, I mean, another thing we changed, we brought a lot. You pack everything for a trip like this. The kitchen sink, everything comes with you. So we've got bikes and surfboards that probably won't come on the next trip.
Yeah, yoga mats.
Where were we?
Yeah, that only came out at lockdown when we had time to actually
unwind and
do stuff.
Yeah, same with the awning. We hadn't really, because we wild camp 99% of the time. You don't really want to be getting your awning out and setting up camp at a beach car park.
Yeah, it's not really allowed, is it? So. But then the awning comes in really handy when we go to festivals or need to put my sister up for the night in the awning kind of thing. So
yeah, we didn't do too bad, really.
No, not at all.
That's good. So you mentioned briefly there lockdown. Obviously, COVID-19 has been a huge part of 2020, and it's been a global pandemic with so many countries on lockdown. How have you guys coped with that? You've been abroad the entire time.
Yeah. Again, I think we went into things not really knowing what was going to happen. Like, no one really expected like a worldwide lockdown. So we travelled to Sardinia to avoid mainland Italy when Milan and the north was a red zone. So we thought we were being clever and avoiding it by coming to this island, whereas Italy as a whole, 9 hours after we arrived and got off the ferry, the whole country went into lockdown. So so we ended up spending 67 days, 2 months on a campsite, spending a similar amount of money to what it would be if we were like traveling like we were before.
I mean, in a lot of ways we got very, very lucky because the campsites, we got all the facilities, we're safe and secure. It was a big campsite, so we had loads of outdoor space, and we were with a more experienced couple. We happened to sort of meet up with those just as the lockdown hit, and they were really helpful because they knew the campsite owners, and he spoke
Italian, which was really helpful.
And
they've been in their T4 van for about 8 years now, I think. Mel and Armando from Westfalia Digital Nomads, thank you for your help.
Yes, if you're there listening.
So we got really lucky. We consider, I mean, it's not tarnished our trip at all. It feels like a blip now. Like, we can't believe we were there for so long. Now we're back on the road and sort of finding our feet again. It was a bit of a learning curve to leave the campsite and then go back to how we were doing things. It was tricky, but it was good as well.
Communication and just having to listen to other people's opinion and on what you should and shouldn't be doing, and finding out the facts was a little bit difficult but made a lot easier with our friends. So
that's good that it didn't put too much damper on it, because obviously I can imagine that put more time on your trip. You'd been planning to travel for that entire time. And do you get to speak to family back home a lot? Was there any concern over whether or not you should go home or whether you should stay where you are?
In regards to speaking to family, yeah, very often. Obviously, with the pandemic, everyone's doing a lot more Skype and Zoom calls, which we got on board with a weekly quiz and chat. So we could get feedback from home quite a lot, didn't we?
Yeah, and they've always been very supportive of what we've been doing. So they were like, literally, guys, don't come back. The UK, I think it was in a different state. It's always been a few weeks behind. So it's literally, you stay there. We know that you're safe. And if you can drag this trip out for longer to save you coming home so quick, do it, kind of thing. So
I think we did consider it at one point going home, but there would be no benefit for us because we couldn't find a job particularly easily. So we wouldn't be earning any money. We'd probably be self quarantine, isolating for 14 days. So we probably wouldn't have benefited from going home.
Yeah, and we really didn't want to come home straight away because we hadn't seen any of the island. We'd literally seen the ferry port and one wild camp spot, and then the campsite for 67 days. So we would have been very disappointed, but if it happened, it happened.
Yeah, I guess you were fortunate where you were, that you were able to stay there for a long amount of time. Have you difficulties? I think I watched in your recent video maybe one or two tricky bits where you've got UK plates and people have been a little bit unsure.
I don't think they expected people to stay during lockdown that were tourists. I think they expected everyone to go back to where their home countries were and see it out back where you live, really. So we had a few not being able to speak the language. You don't know what they're saying and how they're phrasing it. So it could be fine and happy and just curious, or it could be negative, and we never really knew. So we'd always face these issues with a smile, and I literally wrote a script out to hand it over to explain who we are, where we've been. We got off the ferry at this date, and it's been difficult at times, just knowing that we may not be 100% welcome unless we put ourselves out there and explain what we're doing. But we wouldn't have been able to get here anyway. So
I think they were just curious as well. Some people are just curious, like, how are you here? And mostly it's been positive, really. People coming up to us, just chatting and see where we've come from, how long we've been here, and just interested, really. Because we've been here for 3 months now, so it's been a long time.
So I know you said in your video, you really loved where you are at the moment. Is it your favorite spot? I mean, where have you been? Where are your favorite spots that you've traveled?
Sardinia is up there, definitely.
Yeah, we've said how glad we are that we stayed, because it's fast becoming one of our favorite spots, definitely.
And I think it's also a unique time to visit because there are no other tourists here at the moment. They've just literally, last week was it, lifted the ferries and the moving of Italians through the different regions. So people from the mainland can now come to Sardinia and the other way around. So there's very limited amount of tourists here so we've got like a lot of room to ourselves to enjoy a bit, really.
So our general path was our home in Shropshire. So in middle of England, we went to Wales for a couple of days, and we shot up to Scotland. About 3 weeks up there, we went to the Outer Hebrides, and we shot straight back down.
Yeah, Outer Hebrides was amazing as well.
Yeah, that's
really
one of our favorite spots. Then we got a ferry to the Netherlands. We were there for quite a while. Then we hopped over to Germany. We were 2 months in Germany. That was the longest we've stayed in the country until now. We did 2 fairy tale and romantic route.
Yeah, famous road trip routes.
So that was brilliant. And we popped into Austria, which I loved because that felt like a proper adventure. It was cold, it was getting snowy. We were up in the Alps. It was just incredible. Yeah,
we could only stay in Austria for 10 days because we didn't have the right winter kit. And we didn't have the right kit to go into Switzerland. So then we went back into Germany, through France pretty quickly, then into Spain, all the way around the east coast down onto the south, kind of skimmed the bottom bit because we didn't quite leave us enough time, and we were in Portugal for the new year.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we worked our way back up very slowly, up all the way through Portugal.
The Peneda de Gerês National Park, I butchered that once again.
Yeah. That's in Portugal. That was one of our favourite spots again.
It was like the Lake District of Portugal. It was amazing.
And then back up through Spain into France. Denied what we're going to do. Jumped on a ferry and ended up in Sardinia.
As you do.
Yeah. But each country has its own little memories and little, if it's like we did Valencia and Barcelona, 2 big cities in the van, where we parked up on the outskirts, got the metro or train in, and their little like positive little stories. And same for Portugal, like the food, Lisbon, Porto, everywhere is just uniquely different and different vibe, different landscape to enjoy. So
that sounds great. So where is next? Where are you next heading?
Well, I think the problem, we've got a few little issues that we're starting to run into. We'd obviously planned for a year, so we saved up a certain amount of money. That's coming to not an end, but it's getting close.
We're not quite scraping the barrel, but we're getting a bit close.
Which is fine, because we've had 11 months on the road and it's just been incredible. So it's money well spent. We're not upset about the money running out. Isn't it inevitable? So it just depends, really.
Yeah, I think realistically we are going to be home this summer at some point. There's a few things going on at home in regards to like a flat that I own that my sister's currently renting. She wants to move out. I've got to sell it. And like people's birthday that we really need to come home for. So I think realistically Sardinia for the next month, maybe push it for another month potentially, and then home through France, and back home to sunny Blighty.
Yeah, I mean it's not too bad at the moment. It's typical British: one day sunshine, one day pouring rain.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, there was a massive storm last night and really heavy rain this morning. So
at least that, that glorious sunshine you're experiencing right now instead.
I know. It's quite nice today, isn't it?
So if you have, one thing I wanted to ask is top tips for people. So obviously, hopefully we've got a couple of people viewing that are either thinking about doing a camper conversion, already have one, or midway through one. And obviously you guys have been doing it for 11 months now. So I'm sure you've probably accumulated a few tips that you could pass on.
Yeah, I think the first one is that I think, well, we definitely did. We had a lot of travel anxiety. Would we be safe parking out in the wilderness? How do we lock our doors? How do we make sure everything's safe? It's kind of just to trust your gut and to be vigilant with like your locks and putting things in safe places and safes, and taking things that are really important like passports with you and things like that.
Yeah.
And not to overthink it, and you can't plan everything sat at home. You need to actually experience it. And and another one is travel slowly. Don't be in a rush to see everything and anything. Really make the most of it, and for us, not live through the lens at every moment as well if you're capturing it on film.
Balance, because you want to capture everything, but you want to be in the moment.
Yeah, I think we've got a good balance at the moment.
Yeah, the thing is, we forget. There's so much that we look back at our old videos and think, remember that was amazing. Like, it's literally poof, because there's so much to see and remember that these videos look back on are really nice.
Yeah. And what was I going to say? Something about for us, I think it was quite important to keep our, going back to tips for the conversion, was to keep things pretty simple. We've got running water and stuff like that, but it's probably the simplest method you can have. But we know how to fix it if it ever goes wrong. We can replace the parts. Everything is very simple, but it just works. In our van, I don't think you need to complicate things, and we've realized that you can live a lot more simply than just back at home. Everything's a lot simpler. And
what was I was going to say? One very interesting point, that your conversion is never finished. There's always something that you want to switch up, add, take away. It's never done.
I can imagine. It's a bit like, obviously when you're just in a normal home, you're forever changing it, forever working on it and improving it to suit you. So when you guys are back home, do you plan on staying back home, or are you going to work on Flora a bit more and then make another travel plan for the future?
Well, we're definitely, like I said, going to come home and touch base, see family, sort out a few bits and bobs, and it just depends what happens with your house and everything. Yeah,
and Brexit and COVID. There's lots of layers to this.
I mean, at the stage we're at now, I could happily do another 11 months. I'm not sure if I'm speaking out to.
No, you're not, love.
I've really enjoyed it, and obviously we've come sort of southern Europe. I think we over planned our trip. We were going to go way into the east and do all of Poland and all this stuff.
Croatia.
Yeah, it was silly, our initial plan. We wouldn't have seen anything. So I definitely myself want to do a bit more of home, actually, a bit more of the UK, and then I'd love to do Norway, Scandinavia.
Yeah, I think this will be our lifestyle. As long as we can support it, come home for a few months, work really hard or get online jobs, and then just go for 2 months if it has to be, if we save that much, or, you know, then I think we've got one of our goals is to go to the Arctic Circle and do Scandinavia at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's calling us, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I'll feel the cold up there because
yeah.
But I think there's so many things we want to do.
What did you say then? Sorry, we were talking over you.
I said, I've noticed in your videos somebody's always wearing a hoodie and somebody else isn't.
Yeah, I've got
someone.
I can't regulate my temperature very well. Like, I'm not looking forward to when it gets really hot here because I just get stifled in the heat. I can't win.
There's always different temperatures in a relationship.
Yeah, bedtime's a nightmare, but anyway.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. I think that's about everything we were going to discuss. Is there anything else you guys wanted to kind of tell to the viewers, or?
I've seen a lot of our viewers in the comments, but we've been too busy answering questions and thinking. So thank you everyone that watches us regularly, commenting down below.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
We've got a wonderful subscriber base and follower base, and they're really supportive. And when you're having a bad day, you just have a look who's been on and commented, and they bring us right back up again. Not that we're ever down in the dumps particularly, but life isn't always beaches and bikinis and sunshine. But yeah. Your
viewers lift you up, which is great. I know somebody on here, Marcel, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, _007, said they want to curl up at Cal's feet like a loyal dog.
I did see that, but I didn't really know how to respond.
You will get fussed. You will get a big fuss, and we've also got a tin of dog food, so that's got your name on it, Marseille.
Somebody else, Greg Walton, has said that you should buy a long wheelbase. I've had a couple of others. Andy work with, he said about getting a diesel camper stove.
Yeah.
Obviously anybody that is watching, obviously Heritage Parts Centre do have a huge base of products for camper vans. That is our bag, VWs and Porsches as well. Not sure you could camp as well in a Porsche, but you could always try.
We would definitely give it a go.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
So I mean, it would be great when you guys come back through. Obviously with Shoreham, which is along the south coast, we usually have Heretics meets at this time of year where we do welcome everybody in the community down to our HQ. It's on hold at the moment, what with COVID-19, but depending on when you guys come back through, it would be great to have you down to the warehouse to meet you and show you around and have a hello.
Yeah, fantastic. Book us in. Get the kettle on.
Right up for that.
So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Don't forget to check out Meg Cal's channel, Flora and the Novice Explorers, on YouTube. They're also at VW_Flora on Instagram. So check out their travels. It's very inspirational and you will totally want to start saving and buy a van. I do.
Thank you very much for having us. And you've said all of those handles even better than we do. So well done for that.
Thanks everyone for joining us, and this video will be up on our Instagram, TV, and on Facebook as well, so don't forget to check it out there after. All right, thanks very much.
Fabulous.
Thank you very much.
Good evening everyone. Bye.
See you all.